Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And I'm just going to go off in this video here today, so just get ready for this one. Make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, we all know that Nick Wright is one of the biggest fanboys in all of sports media. I think all of us are fully aware of this, and I think he is arguably the most delusional LeBron James supporter in the free world, especially, or if we're just talking about media in the United States, he's the guy at the top of the list. Now, some people say, no, it's Nick Wright. Nick Wright takes the cake when it comes to this. And I believe when Kevin Durant made those comments about the toxic environment surrounding LeBron James, not LeBron, but the environment surrounding him and the fanboys in the media, I think he was talking about the Nick Wrights of the world. I think these are the people that he was talking. I'm not saying that's who he was talking about definitively, but I think if we look at the landscape, at the sports media landscape, and you look at the possible candidates that he's probably trying to elect, I think Nick Wright will be one of the ones running for the top seats, for the top spots. I think it was talking about Nick Wright, and we all know that Nick Wright, whenever he tries to make an argument for LeBron being better than Michael Jordan, since he can't use facts, he usually reaches for these stupid, absurd arguments that are basically based in fantasy. He cannot use reality to make his arguments. So what he does is he always reaches for hypotheticals, and it's one of the reasons Chris Broussard, who's his co-host on First Things First, had the classic line a few weeks ago where he basically said, listen, Nick, you're bringing emotions to a fact fight. And I got to say, I think Chris Broussard has a tremendous amount of restraint dealing with a guy like that. Because if it was me, if during a commercial, I'll say, man, why are you saying all of this? Like you're making an idiot out of yourself. But nevertheless, he's able to coexist with this guy, which I think that in itself is an achievement, because I don't know how he personally does it. But what I've noticed with this guy is this as well. Whenever Nick Wright views a particular person, a particular athlete, as a threat to the legacy of LeBron, what he usually does is he goes after this person in a very nasty way. That's usually what he does. He did it with Kawhi, he did it with Kevin Durant, he did it with Kobe Bryant, and now he's doing it with Michael Jordan. That's what he does. He takes these kind of classless shots at people for no real reason except the fact that he wants to defend LeBron James. And his latest tweets are an example of this. Just today, we stumbled upon an article, I believe it was via sportsrush.com. And basically, I think a Michael Jordan fan was basically saying, man, oh man, I wish Jordan had prioritized individual stats over winning. And of course, Nick Wright took it upon himself to basically come out there and say, the guy that actually left the quote is somebody named Guru with the Kevin Durant image. And he said, I wish I could go back in time and tell Michael Jordan to focus on stats instead of winning, since that's what the GOAT debate is all about. Nick Wright took it upon himself to respond to the guy by saying, nah, but maybe tell him not to quit the sport twice, try to beat Larry Bird in a single game in the playoffs, and to not wait until he was 25 to finish above 500. And here's why I take some exception to some of the things that he was saying. Nick Wright, in his very slick way, and he usually gets it over his stupid mini. Only stupid people find this guy intelligent, in my personal opinion. You must be, I think a lot of people that get enamored with people that have large vocabularies and think of just because this guy's throwing around a lot of big words, and the way he enunciates some of his speaking, you think that maybe this guy's smart. But when you really sit down and dissect some of the things that he's saying, you realize this guy just talking a bunch of rubbish out there. That's really what he's doing. But nevertheless, some people find this guy to be intelligent. I don't know what that says about you, but if you think this guy is saying something profound, then more power to you. But back to the topic here. I think Nick Wright was trying to make it seem as if that Michael Jordan somehow quit on the game of basketball. He tried to make it seem as if Jordan was somehow, like as if Jordan couldn't conquer basketball, and therefore he decided to quit because he just couldn't take anymore. It's like he couldn't win at this sport, so therefore he quit. Because when you use the word quit, usually that's what comes with it. When you quit, it means you're giving up, essentially. And I don't think Michael Jordan, when he decided to retire, not quit, was because he was giving up on basketball. When Michael Jordan retired for the first time in his NBA career, he had won 3 championships in a row. Nick Wright, if you ever watched this video, any Nick Wright supporters, what time in NBA history have you ever seen LeBron James even three-peat one time? Seriously. Like, to me, I think, let me throw it back at the Nick Wright supporters, and I hope Nick Wright, maybe some people that follow him watch this video. Let me ask you this question, since you want to bring up the fact about Michael Jordan deciding to quit basketball after he won 3 championships in a row, and he was considered the greatest player in the history of the NBA at that time. I have a question for you guys. If anyone should have quitted, shouldn't it have been LeBron after he went 3-3 in the NBA Finals? Or should LeBron have quitted after he realized that he couldn't beat Jason Terry, Shawn Marion, Jason Kidd, and Dirk Nowitzki in the NBA Finals with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh? Should LeBron have quit then? Or maybe LeBron should have quit after he realized that he couldn't even achieve one single three-peat, and he couldn't even go back-to-back in NBA championships more than one time. Should he have quit then? Or maybe should he have quit when he realized that he will never be able to go back-to-back in his entire NBA career, but still feels like as if he's dominated the sport? How can you dominate the sport of basketball and you've never even won 3 championships in a row? How do you do that? How do you dominate a sport when you win 2 championships, you go through a drought, you win another one, you go through another drought, you win another one, and somehow you dominated the sport? So you dominated basketball more than Jordan, who won 6 championships in 8 years? Help me understand this. How does that work? What type of domination is that? How do you dominate a sport like that? Maybe he should have quit then. Or maybe he should have quit when Chris Broussard spanked him on live TV for sitting up there and spitting a bunch of nonsense all over our TV screens. Maybe that's when he should have quit. Listen, in my opinion, Nick Wright is a joke. In my personal opinion. After sitting back and listening to this guy for over 1 or 2 years, I realized that a lot of the stuff he says is clownish. In my personal opinion, I don't think he says anything profound. I think he's rude. I think he insults people. I think one day he was, one of the co-hosts on the show, Wiles. I think at one point he said something, he called the guy an idiot on TV, like, blah, 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 idiot. That's how you talk to your co-host? You call him an idiot on live TV? Listen, I think Nick Wright is once again showing how classless he is by taking a shot at the greatest player in the sport. That if Michael Jordan didn't even play basketball, nobody would even give a damn to be sitting up there listening to you. People are not watching you because of LeBron. People are watching you for what Michael Jordan and those before him did for the NBA. You know, those guys that you don't give any respect to, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans. Those guys are the real reason why you're on TV. How about you pay them some respect? How about you realize that part of your check, you should be sending a portion of that to Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan made more people care about basketball than any other player in NBA history. If you don't believe me, go look at his finals numbers when he was playing in the NBA Finals, pulling in over 25 to 30 million people per game. What other NBA player has brought in that many eyeballs to an NBA game? If LeBron is so much better than Michael Jordan with the advent of social media, with the tens of millions of followers on TV, why can't he bring in the same draw as Michael Jordan? Nick Wright and Nick Wright supporters. In all of the arguments that I've heard Nick Wright make, he hasn't made one single point that can make me say, you know what? LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. Instead, he takes all of these long reaches and comes out, he's just pulling things out of his hat like a damn magician. To me, I think that Fox Sports should consider trying to get another personality out there. This guy is insulting our intelligence by coming up there saying this type of stuff on TV. And I just think it's classless to say something like that about Michael Jordan when you know the exact reason he left basketball, why he retired. He didn't quit. I've never seen Michael Jordan get swept in the finals twice. That is what you call getting elbows and ankles and fists put all on you. I've never seen that happen to Michael Jordan. I've never seen Michael Jordan get blown off an NBA Finals floor by a margin. I've never seen that. So to me, I'm tired of the cheap shots. You can criticize a guy. You can go at a guy, but you don't need to do it in a classless way. And all too often, that's what Nick Wright does. He takes a bunch of classless shots. And the only people that I believe that will find any of what this guy's doing is amusing are also classless people. And just like somebody says on YouTube, I'm not going to say his name, there's also a dirty section in sports. And these are the people that gravitate to this type of nonsense. In my personal opinion, respectfully,